Marcus Hersh for Daily Racing Form here in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, covering the Dubai World Cup program. Huge card of thoroughbred and one Arabian race on Saturday evening at Meydan Racecourse. One of the races is the Group 2 $2.5 million UAE Derby, a major qualifying race in terms of points for the Kentucky Derby, with 170 total points distributed 140, 20, 10 to the top four finishers, guaranteeing the winner a berth in the Derby if they so desire. I'm not sure that any of these horses will be going to Kentucky, unlike last year, where the runaway UAE Derby winner Mendelssohn garnered a lot of attention in Kentucky before turning in an abysmal performance in the race. So this is 1,900 meters, about a mile and 3/16, around 2 turns on dirt. We have a bulky field of 14 entered, and the favorite, I believe the favorite in antipost betting is a filly named Divine Image for Godolphin Charlie Appleby and the jockey William Buick. She's not nominated to the Kentucky Oaks, and she is not being pointed to that race, even were she to run especially well, although she is likely to come to America later in the summer if things go her way. She is by Scat Daddy, I believe, and has made 2 starts on dirt this winter. The first one, 3 starts on dirt. She's had some problems behind the gate. She eked out a win 2 starts ago after breaking really poorly and having to rally into some pretty significant kickback she didn't care for. I thought that she was doing too many things wrong, and I didn't see enough brilliance in her to justify the sort of reputation she seemed to have. However, on March 9th in the Albastakia Stakes, despite being a little balky behind the gate, she did break well, got herself in an ideal position, sitting in the pocket right behind the leaders, switched outside to the home stretch, and crushed foes to win by 7 1/4 lengths, making her the likely favorite for this race on Saturday night. Now, that was not an especially good race. I don't think. It wasn't fast on the clock, and interestingly, the 3-year-olds here in Dubai have taken turns walloping each other in the various races in the division through the course of the winter. I think all of the races have been won by pretty wide margins. It just says to me that it's an inconsistent, iffy group, and with as many things as this filly has done wrong already, she's just not very trustworthy, and she's probably going to be a short price. This is one of the favorites on the card. I'm happy to oppose. She could easily win. She does have talent, and there isn't a lot of obvious high-level performers in the field. The purse is obviously gigantic, and American horse people with, second or third tier 3-year-olds they don't necessarily think are Triple Crown material do well to come here and take a shot in this race. One person who is doing that is trainer Brendan Walsh, who actually spent, I think, 7 years working in Dubai before he made his way to America and became head trainer. He has sent a horse named Plus Quai Parfait here. This horse actually covered at Fairgrounds. He ran the Lecomte Stakes and Risen Star Stakes. He was a somewhat troubled 5th in the Lecomte. I thought he had enough go wrong that he would actually have a chance in the Risen Star. He did not have a chance. He might have had a theoretical chance. In the actual running, he was terrible. I believe he finished last. He just didn't ever get involved in that race. And Brendan Walsh told me when I saw him the other day, he still has no idea what happened. Couldn't find anything wrong with him. He may just be a horse who's inconsistent, and if things don't go his way, it chucks it. And to potentially alleviate that situation, Mr. Walsh will be adding blinkers to his equipment package for this race. I will say that a lot of horses travel here, and it bedraggles them. It's a long ship and a different situation. The international quarantine stables are a really long way from the track. There's a walk of more than 4 miles round trip to get to and from the main track to train. But some horses really enjoy being here. They like being out of their stalls. They like the weather. They like the atmosphere. And apparently this horse is one of them. He's supposedly gained weight, and Walsh says his coat, a sign of internal health and robustness going into a race, looks better now than when he shipped him. So, yeah, if he runs like he did in the Risen Star, he'd obviously have no chance. But his Lecomte was decent, and his 2-year-old form, where he beat Harvey Wallbanger, who runs in the Florida Derby, and nearly won the Kentucky Jockey Club. Though the winner of that race, Signal Man, did not especially cover himself in glory upon his return at 3. However, I mean, just on the back of that form and even his race in the Lecomte, were he to take a step forward, get himself into the race quicker with blinkers, I think he'd have an excellent chance to beat this group, hopefully at a decent price. Although if you're playing in America, you kind of take the worst of things with that. The other American horses who are here, Stubbins and Gray Magician, neither has hit anywhere near the form that Flusquet Parfait did at his very best. And both of those horses are definitely forward-running types who I think will be, if not on the lead, then very close to it. And I see a lot of horses like that in this race. I'm kind of guessing this is a race where there's going to be too fast a pace for the front runners really to prosper over the distance, and that could fall apart a little bit. I mean, I want Flusquet Parfait not to follow the back door, but I don't think he has the sort of speed where he's going to be right up on the lead, even with blinkers. Of course, Divine Image will probably get the right trip too, but we'll see what happens with her. A couple other horses I thought were worth taking a look at. Number 2, Jabath, who has a very turf-oriented pedigree and has never run on dirt. So to me, there's some concern about how he's going to handle the kickback. I suspect he'll be in behind from that position. He may just not want to run through it at all. However, he has become a minor 3-year-old star in the English all-weather circuit. I believe he's won 4 races in a row, all over 1,600 meters against progressively, if only mildly, better competition. His trainer, William Haggis, is excellent. And I think he's very well meant in this race. I don't see a problem with him stretching out on his pedigree and the way he's run to 1,900 meters. But again, the dirt is the question. He ought to be quite a fair price in the race. Another horse I think we should at least mention is Van Beethoven, who is Aidan O'Brien's entry in this race. O'Brien, of course, trained Mendelssohn and has done very well in the UAE Derby in the past, running horses first time of the 3-year-old season out of Ballydoyle, his training center in Ireland. This horse actually had a race over an all-weather surface preparing for this. Really the horse that Mendelssohn was at 2 with that level of form. He's decent, hasn't been long, uncertain to stay, not certain to like dirt, and of somewhat questionable quality. But again, O'Brien has done so well in this race, and the race like standouts, I guess he's one that you would consider. In fact, this is one of to me, the more open races on the card. If you're not a Divine Image believer, as I am not necessarily. So go ahead, dive into those past performances. See if you can figure out the pace scenario, which I think is going to be quick, and which horse might stay a longer trip than they've ever been before. And maybe you will come up with a pricey winner. Best of luck.